I found this recipe on the web a few years ago for a key lime cheesecake that's real similar to the key lime cheesecake that you can get at Cheesecake Factory. So I've made this a few times and it is really good. I'm going to post the link to the recipe, the original recipe, in the description below, but I'm going to make just a couple of tweaks to it, and I'll explain those tweaks as we get to them in the video. So first thing we're going to do is make the crust. It's the graham cracker crust, just simple graham cracker crust like a lot of cheesecakes have. So I'm going to use, this is about half of a package of a box of graham crackers. I think it's going to make about 2 cups of ground up graham crackers. Okay, let's go ahead and grind these up now. Okay, that looks pretty ground up. I'm going to go ahead and add those to this bowl. And I've got a half cup of butter here. I'm going to go ahead and melt in the microwave and throw that in there. Okay, I've got my melted butter here. Let's go ahead and add that in there. And also a quarter of a cup of sugar. And that butter is just salted butter. I kind of like the salted butter best with this really... This cheesecake's going to be really tart, so... well, not really tart. You can control the tartness of it by how much lime juice you add to it, but it's pretty tart, so I think the salted butter does a better job with the crust, combining with that tartness of the cheesecake. So let's just give this a mix up here. Okay, this looks like it's pretty well mixed up now. Let's go ahead and add it to our pan. Okay, here's the springform pan. I've traced out a little sheet of parchment paper for the bottom of it because that's going to make this cheesecake a lot easier to come out after it's baked. So let's go ahead and add our graham cracker crust here. And we'll spread that around a little bit. And I'm just going to go ahead and press it down with this glass. Okay, let's go ahead and stick this in a 375 degree oven for about 7 or 8 minutes, no more than 8. Okay, I've taken the crust out of the oven, it's done. Now we're going to go ahead and start creaming together the cream cheese and sugar and vanilla. I've got 3 packages of cream cheese. One cup of sugar. All of the ingredients going into this cream cheese filling here are at room temperature, by the way. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And let's let that cream together now. Every now and then I'll stop it and scrape down the sides just to make sure there are no lumps. Let's add a cup of sour cream. And we'll add 4 eggs, one at a time. Okay, we're also going to add a 1/4 cup of flour here. And the recipe calls for up to 3/4 of a cup of key lime juice. 3/4 of a cup will make it really, really tart, so I stick to about a half a cup. And here we pour it into this. Okay, so when I pulled out the crust out of the oven, I lowered the oven from 375 down to 325. So this is the next tweak to the recipe that we're doing. The recipe calls for baking it at 375 for 15 minutes and then bumping it down to 250 to bake for about an hour or so, or about 50. I think it said 50 minutes. I'm going to bake this at 325 for 40 minutes and then turn the oven off and then leave it in the oven for another 40 minutes. That will kind of reduce any cracking that might form if it's given a chance to cool down a lot slower than it would be than just pulling it straight out of the oven. Okay, we are done, and there are no cracks in this. So I'm going to let this cool on the wire rack here for 20 minutes or so, and then I'll go around the edge with a sharp knife to loosen it from the edges, and then I'll let the whole thing sit in the fridge overnight before I slice into it and see what it looks like. So let's let it cool for a while. Okay. This has been refrigerating in the refrigerator overnight, and as you can see, I've taken it out of the springform pan and cut a slice. So the last thing we're going to do here is just dress it up a little bit with some lime zest and a little bit of whipped topping. And that's just store-bought whip topping like Cool Whip. Okay, thanks for watching.